Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a video that's a little bit different from the other ones I've made. It's an updated version of how I edit my photos. A lot of you guys have been asking, and I did post a mini tutorial on my story, and it's in my FAQ on my Instagram if you guys want to check that out. But this is going to be an actual physical run through so you guys can see what apps I use, how I edit, and what kind of things that I do per photo that are a little bit more tricky than what I might have outlined in my Instagram. So let's take a look. So I primarily use two apps to edit my photos. The first one you'll see here, it's called Foodie. It has this yellow icon and it is available also for Android. It's not just iOS specific. It's free and all those filters that I use are not paid for. So if you guys don't like paying for filters, like I don't like paying for filters, this is free. So you guys will be able to get this without any cost. The second app that I use is called Snapseed. So I'll go ahead and search this up. And it looks like this. It's white with a little green leaf on it, and this is the one that I use not for filters but for specific editing like brightness, contrast, saturation, sharpness, etc. So I'll show you guys how I use these two apps to edit all of my photos. So the first app that I use is Foodie. So right here I have two photos and I'm going to show you guys how I edit. The lighting is different in both. On the left I have a picture I took around morning noon time, so the lighting is pretty even in my whole room and it's more of a larger, wider photo, and it's like an aesthetic photo, you might say. On the right is a picture I took at golden hour, so there's a lot more shadows, and it's of my journal. So I'll show you guys how I edit differently for these two types of pictures. The first thing I do on Foodie is pretty simple. I just pick the picture, edit, and then I add the simple to filter. That's the only thing I do in Foodie. This is the original, I add simple to, and that's it. There's tons of other filters you guys can see. I don't really mess with them too much. Occasionally for non-Instagram photos, I'll use PL2, plain 2, but for my feed, I always use simple 2. The plain 2 is a little bit too pink for my liking, so this is the one I normally use, and I just go ahead and save it. Here we're gonna do the same thing, but with the second photo, edit, simple 2, and you guys can see how much that changed already from the original to this, and you can edit how strong you want the filter to be as well. I just leave it at 100% for stuff like this, and you can already see there's like a huge change in the photo, and then I just save, and that's step 1 done. So now here we are in Snapseed. I've already imported the first photo, which is my room. I'm going to show you guys the basic edits that I do. I open up tools, tune image, and then I typically edit brightness. This picture is already pretty bright, so I'll just go ahead and leave it at 30, but sometimes for darker photos I do push it all the way up to like 60, but you guys can already see how oversaturated that looks, or not oversaturated, sorry, but it's overexposed. It's way too bright. Here the contrast, I did it up to 15, saturation plus 5, and then warmth I typically go down 3. And then I save that, open up tools again, and then here for white balance I play with the tint, and I normally go +2 or 3 depending. I'll just go for +2 here. And then if there's any spots that I want to fix, the selective tool is really nice. Over here, selective tool, and then you can edit brightness of an individual spot if it was darker. You can edit brightness, contrast, saturation, and structure. The two that I normally use the selective tool for are saturation and brightness. I don't really play too much with the other things, but I think this picture actually looks okay the way that it is, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it. The other tool that I use is the brush tool. This one I use when there's more specific spots that I want to brighten up, or if I want to edit down saturation. So I'm going to go ahead and actually make this a little bit less pink here on my desk. And it's pretty small edits. You probably can't even see what I'm doing, but I'm just gently making places that are a little bit yellow or a little bit pink less so by decreasing the saturation in those areas. And that's it. Now for the second photo, you can just open it again, and here we have the photo that we saved from Foodie earlier. And actually, if you wanted to, you can always just throw last edits on here. Under looks, the list throws on the edits that you made to the last photo. But since this photo is quite a bit different in looks from my last picture that I edited, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the process all over again. This one I'll put at 45. That looks about nice. Contrast, I pretty much do 15 for all of my pictures. Same with saturation. Oop. Saturation at 5. And then warmth, I'll go down 2. And then once again, open up white balance, go to tint, and then I go up 2. And then here is where I might do a little bit of brightening in some spots if necessary. Actually, I kind of like the way that it looks now, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. I'll just save it as is. I'll go in with the brush tool, saturation. This corner's looking a little bit too pink, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring that down. And that's it for all of the editing that I do. I know a ton of you guys have been asking. It's a pretty straightforward process. It takes me maybe like a minute to do it myself when I'm not filming, and I go pretty fast. It's become a bit of a routine for me, and this is how I edit all of my photos. So you guys have been asking, and hopefully this video helped clear up any confusion and maybe helped a bunch of you guys discover new apps to use. These are my godsend apps. Foodie and Snapseed are like my lifesavers. It's the only apps that I use to edit pictures nowadays. So definitely check these out. This is not sponsored. I just use these apps all the time. If you want to sponsor me though, hit me up. My email's in the description. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this helped, and have a great rest of your day.